Namaste. Thank you for the session, Jilan sir. It was very thought-provoking. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share very briefly about my journey so that you get a context of what I will be sharing after. I am trained as a designer, and as my training in design went along, I felt that there was something missing in my expression, in my experience, and I felt that I need to experience design more holistically. So not only did I learn classical Indian dance as a form, but I learned it as, I was taught as a way of being. And here it was a very holistic approach, where my life changed, my lifestyle changed, my food habits changed, the environment that I felt comfortable with changed, and it changed my whole perception of design. About 5 years in India and 3 years outside India, training in design. Even in my training in India, I was never taught Indian design. And when I say Indian design, this is almost relevant to anyone who is trying to create, because we are not taught a pedagogy and a process which is rooted in our tradition. We are taught processes and pedagogies that are rooted in the Western tradition. My curriculum in my education was very colonial. So I have no clue. Classical Indian dance is a coming together of movement, music, poetry, literature, rhythm, sculptures, paintings, and it is also a discipline that requires slowing down. Environment matters. So I trained in a Gurukul in the outskirts of Bombay, where we had no electricity, we had no internet connection, but that helped. The time and space came together in a way for me to understand this knowledge system, and this knowledge system lent itself and completely changed my visualization and design practice. How did it change my design practice? I'll share some bits with you. The traditional knowledge system approaches form in relation to time and space. When something is created, something manifests, it is in time and in space. If there is no time, no space, there is no creation. But the quality of time and that quality of space matters for what is created. The geography of the space, the ethos of the space, or the ethos of the people. It all kind of is broadly categorized in, I would say, 4 sections, very broadly. There is Marga, there is Desi, there is sacred, and then there is secular. When we say Marga, it is things that are coming from generations which are more pedagogical, which are more classical. I fear to use these terms in these categories, but yet sometimes we need these words. There is Desi. Desi is that which is created over time. So the classical forms that we practice are actually Desi forms. In the last 100 years, they have evolved and they have developed. And then there is sacred. There is creation that is sacred. If we look back into our traditional context, wherever we are from India, there are so many rituals, there are so many tribal dances, and it's all sacred in relation to nature, either in relation to rain or something that is going to come into our day-to-day being and livelihood. And then there is the secular, let's say. It uses the word visualization, which is very important. I think anyone who has really created, you will normally close our eyes and are like, okay, let me just think. What are we doing? We are trying to visualize. So the visualization of form, and it uses the word form. These are terms that are traditionally used. Visualization and form. It says the first step is realization of the principle that needs to be visualized. It's just actually, as I don't know, please correct me, it is a cognitive experience. It is not about noting, but it is a realization of the principle that needs to be visualized, and the nudge over there is that these are meditative processes. So slowing down and realization of the principle to be visualized, then after that there is a verbal articulation of the attributes of what you are trying to visualize, not what you are going to visualize. So it is not that, oh, I have realized and this is what I am going to visualize. It is a realization of the principles and then a verbal attribution of the attributes of what you are going to visualize, then a meditation on the attributes, and then generation of a mental. Then comes the manifestation of the making of the image, and then the enhancement of the basic through addition of additional attributes, and then you have the final visualized image. Now this is actually a pedagogical process which can be applied to any creative exploration. Why are we not going back to these processes? This is one process. If we read, I'm sure there are many other visualization processes, and as creative individuals, we can vouch that there is never one right process. You create your own process. I create my own. But can we draw from our roots? Can we draw from the traditional knowledge systems? Having said that, I was wondering today when I was sitting and listening to all the lectures that, we are using the word creativity, and if I'm exploring creativity in the context of the Indian knowledge systems, it is important first to correlate what is the Indian word for creativity. And I asked myself, what is the Indian word for creativity? And it took me a moment and I was not able to find. So I ask all of you all in your mother tongues, what is the Indian word of creativity? The word. What is the Indian word of creativity? Rachnatmak. Did we Google it? No. Sorry? Shrijnatmak. So it's very interesting you said that. So in Hindi, I had to Google it, just to let you know. In Hindi, it is Rachnatmak. In Gujarati, which is my mother tongue, it is Shrijnatmak. Okay.
Is the T?
And what does this mean? If you go back into the words, the meaning is Swaroop Sthir Karna. If we are trying to do this, if this is our process, ke Swaroop Sthir Karna, we need to be sthir first. So this is the Indian way of thinking, the traditional knowledge system way of thinking, a meditative process, a contemplative process, a process of slowing down. So I leave you all with this thought that can we use this as one of our pedagogies of manifestation and creativity. Thank you so much.